Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So some of you have been very used to me vlogging, but I am back with some of my talking videos. I started my YouTube channel about 8 years ago, and then I kind of fell off after I was at university. I got really busy with life, etc., and then that was it. I feel like this needs to be a whole new other video in itself, but I just thought I'd give you that little intro. So for those who are new to my channel, welcome. I am Jasneth, also known as She is Jasneth and the Infinite Woman. I am a mother of 5. I've been a mother for 21 years. I had my first child at the age of 15. 6 days later, I was 16. And I've been through a journey. I've got children ranging from 21 to 11, and I also am a grandmother. Yes, I know I look 21 myself, but I am not. And I'm not about to tell you my age. Anyway, I've come back on YouTube because I really want to speak and create a place, a safe space where mothers can kind of like just keep it raw and real. And I think more so for myself, I'm being honest, I needed to create this environment because I felt like I was at a point where I was just struggling. And I was just like, Lord, I don't know what's going on here. And I felt unqualified to share. Now, being a mother of 21 years, there are so many things that I've learned, that I've grown, that stretched me, that's tested me, the whole shebang. But I really want to come on here today very, very quickly to share with you 5 things I've learned as a single mother. I think it's uber important. And I will be doing a 5 things series where I'll be sharing with you 5 things that I've learned in other areas of my life. But I really want to hone in on motherhood. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the first thing. And if I'm looking down, I've written my points because I just don't want to forget them. And yeah, it's just as authentic as it's going to be. So the first thing I want to share with you is our children are here to teach us, not please us. Child. Whew. As a mother, you want the best for your children, which is absolutely no problem. However, there is going to come a time in parenting where your children are going to make some decisions that are going to knock you for 6. Yes. That does not mean that you as a parent has failed. It just means that they are going through a process and they have to go through a process in order for them to actually walk through their story. Yes, we want our children to do things that are pleasing to us and things like that. You know, oftentimes, especially in Caribbean and African cultures, like, hey, my child has graduated, she has gone to school, she has married, she's had children, and all this good stuff. And those are great measures. However, all of our journeys are not that linear, especially for me. As I said, I was a mother of 15 and I didn't get married first. I didn't do all the stuff that I'm sure my parents would have loved me to do, although they didn't articulate that. And that's because I didn't grow up with my parents, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, the point of the matter is, regardless of if you've grown with your parents or not, you know, as a standard, as a Black woman, you just want to have that stability. Yeah, you want to have that security. And who doesn't want a family that is whole, that is together, that's deemed as the 2.4 family, where the mother and the father and the 2 kids and all that good stuff, the white picket fence? But we know that's not reality. But the point of the matter is, our children are going to go through a process. And I remember this so potent because, as you know, I'm a grandmother, and I emphasized that I was a mother at 15. And I used to basically count down the years when I was looking at my oldest child, like, oh, she ain't got pregnant. Oh, she ain't got pregnant. Almost to the point where it felt like I was idolizing the idea of her not being pregnant. And when I kind of like released that to God, lo and behold, a couple of years ago, she came to me and said that she was having a child. And it was never something that I rehearsed in my mind. It was never something that I thought to myself, oh, you know what? If that was to happen, I would this. It was by the grace of God that I did not do the typical ethnical Black mother of all the kind of reaction that you would get. But it was the grace of God that kept me, honestly. I was just like, okay, congratulations. So what are you planning to do? And I think she was shocked at my reaction. But there obviously, yes, there was some disappointment. And I wasn't pleased. But I remember God said 3 things to me. He said, 1, this is not a reflection of your parenting. He said 2. The scripture says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. He said she's not old. And he said 3, she needs to have her own testimony. And I was just like, it just brought me so much comfort, because what we have to recognize as parents is, I'm sure by now you will know that I'm a believer, and it's our children are loaned to us. God has entrusted us with these children to grow them, nurture them. Remember, the word says that I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. That means that he had far greater plans before he even thought to give them to us. And it's at a point where we have to trust God with the process of our children. You know, I put up a quote today, and it said, our children's decisions are not a reflection of, are not our failures. They have to go through their process. So they are gonna make choices, and that doesn't mean that they've done it with a purpose, not for us to feel like we've done a good job, or they just purposely want to disappoint us. At the end of the day, they have to go through their own journey. And I bring that all to say that our children are here to teach us and not to please us. And I think what that situation done for me is it taught me patience. It taught me to actually deeper reflect on where I was at that age, how far she's come now. She's about to graduate. Well, she's finished her degree. She's about to graduate. She went all the way through. I advised her to take a year out. She decided she didn't want to do that, and she went all the way through. Praise God, she made her decisions. But at the end of the day, our children are just not here to please us. And I think it's something that we actually need to recognize and realize that they are going to make their own decisions. They may not do things according to our plans, but the plans of God will prevail in their life. And we just need to trust the process. Okay. Number 2, you can't be with your children every step of the way. And this is a process of trusting God with our children. We are not going to be able to be there every step of the way. I can't be in 5 different rooms in my house. Actually, I've got 4 rooms, but that's not the point. But I can't be in 5 different places. I'm going to have to trust God with the way in which I teach my children, I nurture my children, I encourage my children, for them to actually be in a place where they're just like, okay, Lord, I can't be with them every step of the way. I'm going to do my best here, and I'm going to trust you to do the rest. Obviously, we're here to guide, to nurture, to navigate our children. However, we are not here to be, as the other point, people pleasing, or for them to people please us. They have to be at a point, we have to be at a point where we understand that we're not going to be able to be there every step of the way. And that's where our prayers and our petitions come in when it comes to our children. And I think that's been something that's been very difficult for me as a parent, feeling as though I'm losing the reins of my children. And as mad as it sounds, it's like you had all these children that you were balancing, and suddenly you feel like this grip is going away. And it's almost like having dogs on a lead, as mad as it sounds. Like, come for me in the comments. But this is the only analogy that I can think of. You're a dog walker. You've got 5 dogs. One wants to go that way. The other wants to go the other way. The other wants to go that way. This one wants to sit here and excrete on the pavement. The other one wants to go wee. The other one wants to sniff a stone. There is no way you one with all these strings are able to do all these things. At some point, you're going to have to be like, okay, I surrender. I've done my part. I've implemented teachings in you, and I'm going to have to trust God that they will come to pass and they will come to fruition in its own time. So that's been a big lesson for me in terms of parenting. Third, you may be disappointed at times. And I feel like all of these intertwine with one, in a sense. Our children, as I said, are not here to please us, and we are going to be disappointed with some of the decisions that they make. It may be something as simple as they picked a law degree instead of a teaching degree, or they picked, no, actually, for Black families, that's one in the same. Let me go again. It might be as though one of our children has picked an art degree and we wanted them to do law. Ciao. Now for black families, African Caribbean, that is disappointment in all areas, and lawyer, doctor, them top degrees, that's where they want. I personally am not a mum like that. And that's through experience. I think that it's good that you would think about what you want to do in the long run. But if that's what you decide to do, I'm not going to hold it against you. I would love you to do your A-levels. I would love you to have a specific degree that maybe have stability. But I'm also quite aware that for me, myself, I'm quite a creative. And being in a 9-to-5, stuck in a wall in a room, that ain't going to do good for my mental health at all. So by all means, do your thing. But sometimes as parents, we're going to be disappointed. Our children might decide to have the wrong partner. They might pick Steve instead of Winston. And you're just like, now you know Winston was a good boy. Why you went with Steve? Why you had to do Winston like that? There are things that our children are going to do, they are going to experience, and they are going to make choices that are going to disappoint us, sometimes to our core. But again, we have to trust God with the processes that they are going through life. When I look back at my life and I'm just like, child, the amount of things that I did and the choices that I made, although I'll be very honest, I was not guided as a child. I grew up in care from the age of 3 to 16. I was living from different houses and homes. Yes, I had some good, stable people that would give me advice, but I didn't have that stability in a sense of every single day having a mother or a father there to guide me day by day. I didn't have that. It was 1 and 2s, areas of my life that people had, given me advice. But we can give advice to our children until we're blue in our face. You know that saying that says you can bring the camel to the water, but you cannot force them to drink? This is it with our children. No matter amount of discipline, no amount of threats, no amount of anything is going to make your children do what they do not want to do until they are in a place where they have made a decision that this is specifically what I want to do. Unfortunately, some of them are going to have to go down a journey and a road that is not pleasing, that we are disappointed in. And we just have to continue to be a place, a safe space and a support system where it's just like, well, come on home. Come on home. I was watching an amazing, conversation with TD Jakes and Sarita Jakes. It's called Winning at Home. And it blew my mind. I must say that you should go and watch that because it's absolutely amazing. But it made me think of so many things that in life, we've been sold such a dream on how parenting should be, how relationships should be, how marriage should be, that we're almost trying to play a game or be this thing that's not. What works for that family is not going to work for this family. What works for that marriage is not going to work for this marriage. What works for that relationship may not work for this relationship. So yes, that is number 3. Number 4, time alone is important. Child, I couldn't emphasize this anymore. Time alone is important. As a parent, sometimes I just want to uppercut, lower cut, down a cut, inner cut, because I'm just like, seriously, if I do not get out of this house, everything on my life that I've built is going to be at jeopardy. You need time alone for your mental health. As a parent, you are not built to be there 24/7, 365 days a week. It is not possible. If you feel to yourself that you are about to explode, oh child, I'm telling you, ensure that you take some time out. Go for a walk. Go sit in that car. You know, us as mothers, I've got a video that is so funny that I had to go and get myself some nachos and just take myself away because the ethnicity that was about to ethnicity, I needed to just give myself a minute. You have to know you. You have to know when enough is enough, when you need time alone, when you need an escape. It could even be nothing to do with your children, but you just know that you need a minute because there are a lot of things that are overwhelming you, whether it's bills, whether it's family, whether it's other dramas, whether it's work, whether it's all those type of things. Take time for you. The same way you would take time to go out and be at your friend's party and get a babysitter and take time to be with you by yourself. Time alone is important. Sometimes I'm so sorry because I feel like really bummed up. Sometimes we take time away from the noise to go to more noise because we're trying to avoid the other noise to give ourselves some more almost distractions from what's happening. But in actual fact, time alone is going to enable you to think about your thoughts. It's going to enable you to think about your feelings. It's going to enable you to actually recollaborate and think to yourself, well, actually, could I have dealt with this differently? What's really going on with me? How can I do this? How can I do that? Time alone is very important. I've booked myself hotel breaks before. I've gone for long drives. I've gone for walks in the park. I love me to read me some books. I journal, giving yourself a minute to journal. Like, I'm not talking about going in your room, because as I'm in my room, trust and believe, when I'm in my room, my children come in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 times a day. It's not time alone. You need a minute to take yourself away from your normal environment into another and just woosah. I love me some water. I love me going to the water and sitting at the water and just breathing and just taking it in. Time alone is important. Do not take that for granted, because before you had children, you were you. Okay? Before you had children, you were you. And sometimes you need to get yourself back to that place where you just recollaborate, refresh, and revive yourself. So time alone is important. And last but not least, number 5. What you don't have is exactly what you don't need. What you don't have is exactly what you don't need. Now, I need to break this down a bit. Now, as a single parent, I have sometimes cried for the ability, for the mere fact that I'm a single parent. Their dad is not involved financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically. He's just not around. I'm so sorry, guys. And sometimes I'm like, Lord, is this really what you desired for me? Is this really what you planned out for me? Like, a little change here and there would really do well. Like, even a little £50 a month. Do you know what they will do for... And sometimes God reads me back and it's just like, what you don't have is sometimes what you don't need. And for the mere fact of the matter, for example, I don't know where that money's coming from. I don't know if that interaction of finances is something that would cause even more issues. Oh, Lord, I really feel like I need, like my mum. I don't have my mum in my life. What would that have been like if my mum was in my life? Unfortunately, my mum suffers from mental illness, and I've never really been around it. So it's not something that I've experienced maybe in my younger years, but I'm talking real young. I grew up in care from a very young age. And sometimes you crave that. Lo and behold, I am so pleased and blessed that God has given me spiritual parents, spiritual mothers, just people that have stood in the gap. But if my actual mother was here, what would life be like? Sometimes we're craving the very thing that we don't have, not actually realizing that the very thing that we don't have is the very thing that we don't need. Okay? So yes, I understand as a single parent, it can feel daunting, it can feel draining. And trust me, when I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself, because what I speak to you about is what I'm discovered and what I'm still walking through. And this is what was feeling like was going to disqualify me, because I was just like, look, I'm still going through. I ain't got time to be talking to people and acting like I got it all together. I do not have it all together. But what I do know is that I am a person that works on me. Okay? I read my books. I read my word. I ask good counsel and advice, because I want to be better. I want to. Naturally, I just want to be better. And sometimes in doing so, God will remove things from you so that you can work on you, so that when he has what he's ready to give you, you are already well equipped, well versed in order to receive the very thing that God has for you. Sometimes the thing that you don't have is not what you need. Do not let social media, culture, or society cause you to feel like you are missing out on something that they deem as normal. The only normality is the way in which God has created your life to be. And he is going to walk you through that. He is going to uplift you. He is going to grace you, and he's going to be merciful in you through that time. So please, 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 my good sisters, don't crave the thing that you don't have, because it may be the very thing you didn't need. So I hope that this has been an encouragement to somebody out there. Guys, please comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, share this video. And I am definitely going to be back with another video, another 5 things I've learned. And I'm really excited about these series. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you've learned. Share your 5 things below for another mum that might be looking for some advice. You never know, the very thing that you comment could be the very thing that saves someone's life, period. So thank you for joining me. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. So take care and God bless.